It would be a shame for me to die today and somebody says, yeah, uthengi moto cash. Marabunga manje, mtanake, so uyahlupheka. What does your wealth journey look like, sisters? What do we need to manage and mitigate in terms of debt, in terms of wealth, in terms of black tax? Hello honeys, it's Yolz and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about generational wealth. If there's one thing I've noticed with our generation is that we, especially as black people now, we always say, oh, we weren't educated about money. Oh, I never really had like any financial education in my upbringing. But actually, for the most part, most of us could admit that we have. Only one side of the equation though. The debt side, Sana. So many of us know iskweleti so well. Samama zala, iskweleti, sa buti, sabanbani. And that's probably part of the problem. Today we're going to talk about the other side of the equation because we are probably better off learning about both sides and more equipped when we can make decisions having both sides right in front of us. The wealth side of the equation, I can't wait to get into it with you, with our sponsor of the day, which is One Life. We were talking about all things generational wealth, and we've also got a giveaway at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. I will touch on it in the middle of the video, but for now, I cannot wait to talk about my favorite subject. If you do enjoy this video, you know what to do. Give it a massive thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know which side of the financial education you got when you were growing up, the debt side or the wealth side. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hey there, it's Yolz channel. What is generational wealth? I know, I assume you know, but there are other people who actually don't know what that is. It is basically when assets are passed down from one generation to the other. Now, you can do this while you are still alive, or at times the giver who is giving the generational wealth may not be alive anymore. So it might be passed down after death. But for some people, they actually get to enjoy generational wealth while they're still alive. For example, my little sister, she is a benefiter of generational wealth, and my son will be a benefiter of generational wealth, probably more so when I'm not actually alive. And I know we don't like to talk about death, so we won't do that right now. For me personally, generational wealth and financial freedom go hand in hand. What does it enable us to do? You can think freely when you are not hungry, Sana. Do you know the feeling of just having choice, peace of mind, being empowered, being able to take risks without having to think about the money aspect of it? For the most part, that is what generational wealth allows you to do. And I think the biggest benefit for me is just providing security, a soft landing. Should anything happen, if I fall, at least go soft land. At least I can still maintain the quality of life. Especially, and I say this for sure, my little 5-year-old, guys, I do not want to compromise his quality of life. And I want him to still enjoy it, whether or not I am here. I know, hot topic to imagine yours just disappearing. Just like that. Angiko. I cannot imagine a world where Faiz has got to think twice about extramural activities that he wants to take at school. I can't imagine a world where he has to think long and hard about the tertiary education he dreamed of versus the one he has to go for simply because mom is not around or dad is not around. So when I think about generational wealth, I think about passing on the same, if not even higher, quality of life for him especially. Let's get straight into how we can actually start building generational wealth for our future generations and securing their future through their money. One of the ways that I started back in the day, I'm talking about 2014, when I was still a little 22-year-old, I actually bought my first property, and I did not realize at the time that I was actually starting off building my generational wealth journey. In fact, it started off as a financial burden. I didn't want to pay rent. I was just like, black tax, needs to look different for me. Not just for now, but later it needs to turn into a financial benefit. There's tons of ways of building generational wealth. One of those is, saving and investing. You could buy a home like I did, and there are various other ways which we can also talk about. Even financial education is a really good way of building financial wealth, investing in yourself so that you make better decisions for your future. But for now, let's focus on building generational wealth when you actually buy a home. Now, there are levels to this thing. And yes, from the most basic level, it would be having a home paid off, to the most complex and highest level, which is being a trust fund baby, or even just having or building a trust fund while you are still alive. When 18 years old, 25-year-old, 35-year-old, you as the young youth of South can be a trust fund holder or benefiter yourself. But for me, I want to start off where I can relate the most, which is basically having a home. My biggest goal was to have my home paid off. Hopefully in the next few months it will be. And what does that really mean? For me personally, security is really key, but it's also really empowering, knowing that I can go back and actually have a home should anything happen. Hey, things change. We've seen the financial markets, they do this, but I always wanted to have something that can shield me from harsh markets at a time where I don't have anything else. At least let me have a home. For my little sister, who's 25 right now, it's really empowering for her. This has become something that's given her peace of mind, where she is working for one of the top firms in South Africa. But even as a graduate and a good earner, she has the choice to still live at home and save up for the high-end furniture that she wants for her apartment, not have to worry about paying rent, not have to worry about black tax, because I've taken on that responsibility, and she's a benefiter, a direct current benefiter of just having a home that she doesn't have to pay for. But also, the most important human being in my life right now, my 5-year-old. He is secured for life. At any given time, there is a house that is there for him, which is security for him forever. And in the future, even when I'm not there, he can then have a choice to do whatever he wants to as an asset that is already within his wealth benefits. Having a home for a lot of people can also take out the risk of constantly worrying about the next step. Most of us make decisions based on money and survival instead of passion or purpose. And I actually hate this for our generation, who are literally at the mercy of so many things, but we can be masters. We are at the mercy of receiving information, but we can be masters of the information that we receive. For instance, social media. Right now you are watching this. How are you using this information for your own benefit? Is this a financial burden to you, your data right now? Or are you going to use it as a financial benefit to make informed decisions? One of the things we also inherit, black tax, generational debt. But how do we start mitigating or eliminating that financial burden and making sure that it becomes a financial benefit for us and the future that we have, which is our children? We can make that decision by changing the narrative in our families, by simply just deciding, ukuthi namhlanje I am ending that generational debt cycle that I find myself in. I have inherited generational debt. No, thankfully, I haven't in real life. I'm so grateful for my mom. She was always on the cash, but I know a lot of friends who have. But what I wish for them and their children is that their children can inherit the generational wealth that they've started building. And there are tons of financial products that can allow us to do that. But if we are not educated and do not know enough about it, we simply don't get anywhere. But what we do is then allow the same cycle to continue throughout our families. And unfortunately, our children might even inherit that black tax and that generational debt. But I don't want that. Please, please. If he wants to study in the UK, maga study shepaya sana. But how do I get there? Yolz, how do I ensure a rich life for good, for the good of my child, so that if he decides to take a gap year, let him, sana. Let the words be, let him, let her, let us also want to be part of a generation that changes the narrative, especially for the Black family. So let's choose life instead of just surviving. One of the reasons I quit my job anyway in corporate was so that I could actually live, because life needs to be lived, right? But I also want the same for Ufezile. And one of my biggest priorities is high quality education for him. It is choice. One thing I didn't have, and I'm grateful again for my mom for making good choices for me, was choice in a lot of other things. Thankfully now she's empowered me through what she's given me, which is education, to be quite honest. Is that empowerment to give life and ensure that Fez has got a rich life going forward and even now. I sat down with my financial advisor and I said, what is the one thing you advise I have? I work for myself. I pay my own salary. What do I need? Is it an RA? Is it savings and investments? Should I actually get more in education? Should I increase, get my honors, get another degree, do this, do that? And she said, hey, sisters, get life insurance. I know. Sounds crazy, but she was like, if you are looking at your assets and your liabilities, she actually created a whole spreadsheet. One of the things that can ensure that these assets remain within your family and that Fez still has a good life, at least the kind that you want him to, have life insurance. I know. This is the part where you want to click out of the video, but guys, salani, siyakula, sikulile. So it's time for us to have these conversations, and we're about to have it right now. I'm just warning you really quickly. Before we actually do that, I want to know about your thoughts on whether or not you've thought about the things that I'm talking about. I've actually got a survey down in the description box. I want to know where you are thinking. And you could win 20,000 Rand cash if you do it. You have to be between the ages of 18 and 35 though, because I'm speaking to the youth. I'm talking to us adults. Answer that survey for me so that I know where your mind is regarding generational wealth, regarding the debt you may be trying to manage right now or mitigate, in fact. And yeah, let me actually know your thoughts. But back to speaking about life and focusing about the life we want to give our children. So as mentioned, there are tons of ways to build generational wealth, but the one that we'll speak about today is life insurance. Now, I did speak about RAs, which we'll break down in another video. There are also ways to save and invest and build generational wealth, but I want to start off with a basic, small steps making a huge difference in your future. And of course, thinking big, this concept of thinking big and starting small, that's exactly where we want to be. I always want to help you, at least through financial education, in really building this big bus, building this plane while we fly it, but through small steps. So we're going to start off with the low-hanging fruit. Where do I start? I think the biggest concept for me when I realized this aha moment, when my financial advisor said to me, start with life insurance, she was basically like, well, no insurance, no payout. No, you've got these financial burdens, which are your liabilities, and there will be no financial benefit to Fez if you don't do something about it now. How do I ensure that he's got this big payout one day that covers his tertiary education, that ensures that he is financially secured for life when I am no longer there? If I die today, namhlanje, how do I know at least umtanam sorted? So and as mentioned before, I have partnered with One Life, and this is the section where I want to introduce one of the products that they have, which is called Priority Life. It is super affordable. What I want us to focus on is this dream and this vision that we have for our families and our future generations. Whether or not it is a home that you want to secure, whether or not it is an asset that you want to secure, it would be a shame for me to die today and somebody says, yeah, uthengi moto cash, marabunga manje mntanakhe so uyahlupheka again, and I say again because mina bengihluphekile when I grew up. I didn't have that. So how do we start this generational wealth building journey? Well, this One Life product, Priority Life, can start as low as like $300, guys. Do you have 300 Rand? No, I don't. Okay, but I'm gonna take away Zako. What is your Uber Bulapaya Yenandos? 300 Rand. Okay, from as little as $300, you can actually get life insurance cover for about 100,000 Rand. Now that doesn't sound a lot, but again, if you are 18, if you are 19, you don't have a child, and you're thinking of these things for the future, this is something that can pay off debt, generational debt that you've already inherited when you are no longer alive. This is something that can pay off your house. Somebody like me who dies tomorrow, I already know that that's sorted. I've already done the calculations, and thankfully, I've done it enough enough so that there's something left over for umtanam when I'm no longer here. And in as much as I hate talking about death, if it's accidental, you are actually covered immediately with this priority life product. And again, that for me is the security I need. It takes away that anxiety that our parents lived with. Ngisaphila mntanami, let me do this. Mina ngifuna ukuthi noma ngiyaphila, noma ngisekho, may your life not be compromised in terms of the quality and the decisions that you want to make. May they not be limited to how much you have, but rather how much life your parents have given you. Me as a parent, me to me, that's how I speak, at least when I look at Faisey's little life and what I want him to be, limitless in dreaming, limitless in living as well. Another thing about this priority life is that your premiums do not change for a whole 12 months. It's nice to be able to budget for 12 months and know and keep 300 rand change overnight, So for 12 months you are sorted, and of course terminal illness benefits are also included in this. But the biggest takeaway, which is for you, wherever you are in your journey, whether you are actually in a permanent job, whether you are in a temporary employment situation, whatever you are, I actually think you should start with your generational wealth building journey. Another way of actually building generational wealth, which I haven't touched on here, I have kind of, but haven't really delved into, is education. We do not educate ourselves enough. And I did touch on it earlier that we know more about debt than we do about wealth. One Life has got educational courses which are online, and it's called Truth About Money. There's something called Ditching Debt. For instance, if you need some education on how to manage the debt that you are dealing with, or any other money management, questions that you have, it's literally 30-minute courses that you can do online. Take that time instead of scrolling, instead of just taking my advice as an influencer in finance. Go and actually feed yourself. Feed yourself and invest in your education so that somebody else, whether that's your baby or your sister, a second-hand benefiter like my little sister who's currently living in the house that I bought 10 years ago, can actually benefit from your knowledge, and you can pass that down. And of course, teach them also to do better. Invest in life and make sure that you are ensuring a rich life, not just for now, but for future generations that are coming after you. Let's make better decisions. Let not our kids inherit our debt and black tax. May they actually inherit our wealth, our riches in education, and of course in finance. And I would like through my kids. No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking, right? I'm actually serious. If you've got any questions, definitely ask them down in the comment section below. So yeah, I'm a big believer in doing all the research that you can, and of course starting your wealth journey today, whatever the age that you are. I started very early. I actually started saving at the age of 17, and it's really helped me understand financial products one by one, unpacking them and bringing it to layman's term one by one. And you can start today using the Truth About Money online courses, which are available on the One Life website. I'll also leave that down below. I would like you to partake in the survey. The benefit here is that you could win 20,000 Rand cash. Again, you have to be between the ages of 18 to 35 to answer these. These are really basic financial questions. I want to research myself. The One Life team would also like to know more about you and your money matters, your money choices, and how you view generational wealth and generational debt. So definitely answer the survey, which I have linked down below. You have to be between the ages of 18 and 35 to do so. It's only 7 minutes. Literally super quick. If you're a fast reader like me, I literally took 4 minutes to do it. I'm not gonna brag or anything, but like, girl, do it, okay? Do it so that you leave asking the questions you need to. The right questions lead us to the right answers. And I want us to ask rich questions to get to rich answers. Somebody called me a rich auntie a few years ago, and I said, yes, girl, that's my future. I don't just want to be a rich auntie. I want my children to be wealthy trust fund babies, and I hope the same for you. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to answer my questions, all of them, in the comment section. I want to know, what does your wealth journey look like, sisters? What do we need to manage and mitigate in terms of debt, in terms of wealth, in terms of black tax, all those things. And we will be unpacking them in future videos as well. I'm so excited that we have delved into this finance series, and right now we can start understanding things like life insurance, bringing it back to ourselves and our families so that we can change the narrative of the wealth conversation within our homes. And of course, we start changing the whole narrative within the black community when it comes to imali kesana. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and anything else regarding the competition rules, definitely check out the description box below. I love you guys so much.